Thanks for that. Thanks for that intro. Thanks for being here. My father worked for a large institution for most of his career, the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York City. He frequently had to give speeches to dozens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. And I can remember sitting in my high school required public speaking class and kind of asking him nervously for advice. How do you do it? How do you stand up there and speak to so many people? It feels kind of unnatural. My father's advice was, well, I always try to warm up the crowd with a little bit of humor. So, why did the administration require the old teacher to get new glasses? Because he was struggling to control his pupils. Thank you. Thanks for that. Yep. Dad joke going out to all the fathers out there. But seriously, 2021, rough year. Am I right? I teach high school shop, and I love my job because it is hilariously funny, it is joyful, and it is meaningful. And I've been doing it for about 20 years, and I thought I knew what I was doing. Turns out the job still presents interesting challenges. There's evidence to suggest that teachers might be struggling with controlling their pupils. Seriously, it's been a tough year, and almost every teacher I've spoken with recently is feeling pretty burnt out. There's been a lot demanded of us. Morale is certainly less than optimal. And these last 2 years, no, heck, these last 2 weeks, just been really tough. I hope things get better. I have hope that things will get better. Yes, and there was this very popular business management, self-help advice kind of book published around 2000 by a guy named Rick Page, and the title of that book was Hope is Not a Strategy. And I can recall my father offering advice, and he would agree and he would add, okay, things are tough, it's good you have optimism, but what's your plan? And he's right, we need a plan. And that's what teachers do. We've got lesson plans, sub-plans, assessment plans, school improvement plans, 5-year plans, retirement plans. You know what I'm talking about. But the best plan is not going to get us out of this difficulty. The most current educational research suggests that the single most significant factor in determining success for our students is hope. So, will our students have hope? Can they see the benefit of work done today for a better tomorrow? Can they see a better future? Can we help them find that hope? All of us, every single one of us have been through the ringer. Every single one of us, student or teacher, rich or poor, we're all somewhere on a spectrum of PTSD. And this background, latent, free-floating PTSD makes everything more emotional. I, myself, am much more emotional. And students, oh man, students have been going from 0 to F you, teacher man, in like a second. I have never experienced that before. Lately, I'm just feeling kind of drained trying to deal with it. Never mind keeping my grade book updated. Those of you not in education may not be aware, but have you heard about the TikTok videos and the devious lick? Yeah, Google it if you haven't. For real, students are filming themselves vandalizing hallways and bathrooms and then sharing those videos on TikTok because that's a thing. This is a nationwide problem, but I was shocked to find it here in our high school. One particularly popular prank was for students to steal the soap dispensers from the bathroom, the ones that are bolted to the wall. In the middle of a pandemic, who hates soap? But Adversity can sharpen our senses, and these difficult times can serve to clarify a few things. And during that long, dark winter of remote and hybrid instruction, a few things really came into clearer focus for me in a kind of profound way. My wife is one of 7 million Americans with a compromised immune system. This makes her extremely vulnerable to COVID-19. This means, aside from me working at school, we are basically still living the quarantined life. She has been unable to work outside the home for the last 2 years, and that has put a strain on us emotionally and financially. And we've had to have some difficult discussions, make some hard decisions, like, for example, it would just make much more sense for me to take a different job, something other than teaching that came with something like a real paycheck. But I came back. I chose this profession. Several of our colleagues moved on, they retired, they relocated, they chose a different career, and who can blame them? But so many of us educators came back. We came back. We come back to this profession despite the 1,000 slings and arrows, despite the disrespectful paycheck, the rude teenage behavior, and the broken bathrooms. We continue to come back to this profession again and again. Why do we do it? Because we believe in the mission, because we have hope, because we have this belief in our students, and we have this irresistible, irrepressible optimism and this belief that we can maybe make a difference, sometimes despite evidence to the contrary. And we have this hope in our students. I believe that education, public education, is perhaps the most fundamental problem-solving strategy ever invented by humans. I do. I believe this. It's not perfect, not by any means. It's no silver bullet. Nothing is. We can't do this work alone. We need partners and parents and community support. But when it is done well, when things are working and humming along in our classrooms, public education is the closest thing we've got to actual, real magic. And teachers are the professionals who make that magic happen. If you want to move the needle, if you want to move the needle on some little problems like racism, income inequality, global climate change, or, I don't know, a worldwide pandemic, then you invest in education, and that's why we're here. These problems we face scare me, but they can petrify and paralyze our students. We need to ensure that they have the hope to endure and persevere. The first year of this pandemic was pretty stressful for us teachers. We had to reinvent teaching and learning on the fly with no practice, little prep, and it was a nightmare. Literally. That is not a metaphor. Pretty much every teacher I know, including myself, had nightmares about lesson plans. It was difficult, it was a struggle, but at the same time, I began to receive these surprising little notes. I began to receive a trickle of emails, a few voice messages, a bunch of texts, a handful of actual, honest-to-goodness, handwritten letters from students, from a random assortment of students, parents, families, and some long-ago graduates. No long letters or profound essays, just little notes of gratitude. Little notes saying, hey man, you remember that time with that thing? Thank you for being there. Those notes were nourishment. That was like water in a parched desert. With their devious licks and their unruly behavior, our students are demonstrating that they need us. Their families need us. Our communities need us. Society needs teachers, and in a way that maybe has never been as urgent before. And we teachers, we educators, we have the exact set of skills necessary to help society navigate through this mess. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? Our nation is in a time of need, and we teachers, we have stepped up. We are towing the line. We are frontline workers. We have been bearing the brunt of this unrest. We are like warriors manning the walls, defending civilization from the barbarians who would tear us apart. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like that we are engaged in a noble struggle against forces of darkness. I'm talking about TikTok. We come back to this work because we believe in its significance and its importance. And when I am drained or demoralized or distracted, I look to this team of awesome, impressive educators, and we lift each other up. The collaborative spirit of this profession is amazing. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm here to honor that spirit today because this next chapter and evolution of public education is not going to be smooth, simple, nor easy. But it is vital, it is necessary, and it is unavoidable. So you can wring your hands and worry about what is to come, or you can get on board, roll up your sleeves, and get to work, focusing on what really matters, teaching our students once again with love, compassion, and gratitude. In conclusion, there are 3 things I would ask of you. Thing number 1, can you think back? Can you recall? Can you recollect? Have you ever been inspired or motivated by a teacher or a counselor or a coach? Can you remember? Is there a lesson or a lecture or a moment that left a positive impact on you or your life? Well, write it down. Set the scene. Tell the story and send that teacher, that counselor, that coach a little note. It doesn't need to be much. Maybe check your punctuation and spelling. That educator would love to hear from you. Thing number 2, can you support policies that support teachers? Can we move beyond politics for a moment and agree that the one hope we all share is for the success of our students? Can you help us find the resources we need to do our jobs like the trained professionals we are? Can you help the teachers in your community hold on to more hope so our students can as well? And finally, thing number 3, can you consider your career options? If you're a young person seeing this presentation today, contemplating career choices, heck, if you're an older person contemplating career choices, if you want to be part of something bigger than yourself, if you want to be part of a movement focused on creating the conditions for positive change, if you want to do your part in building a better world, well then consider a career in teaching. It is tough, it is challenging, but it is significant. It offers rewards beyond riches, and we need you. We need your perspective, we need your enthusiasm, we need your optimism so we can worry less about controlling our pupils and focus more on helping them to find their way to happier, healthier, more hopeful lives. I hope you'll join us. Thank you very much.